Hey there, it's Natalie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm in the sewing room. And me and Kitty knows, she's right over there, my faithful companion. My friend Sandy is a hairdresser, and she brought me an apron that needed a little repair on it. So I said, sure, I can do that. I made a pattern so I could make another apron. And so I thought I'd share that project with you. I was going to make just a solid black apron for her, and then I decided, let's do a reversible apron. So this got this cool kind of funky, splashy, paint splattered. Of course, you know I would love paint splatters. On the front, it's got two pockets, and I went ahead and put the black straps on there because it is a reversible apron. It has an adjustable neck strap, and so the back side, the other side, or the front side, whichever you want, is black. It also has two pockets. It has a tie. Fits me. Would fit probably a couple of different sizes. So, and especially since it has the adjustable, it's got little D-rings. I'll show you how to set those. So anyway, I would love for you to hang around for a little bit in the sewing room and let me show you how to make this really cute reversible apron. Could be for the kitchen, could be for a hairdresser, could be for an artist. I have this laid out, ready to cut, but I need to show you something. Of course, you need to see this. Let me see if I can turn my camera real quick here. Loosen that up just a little bit. And you see her there? My little companion. Always, always. All right. So much for Kitty No. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I could just cut one of these, but I am going to cut this in reverse. So I've made sure about how wide this is. So this is kind of a large, and it goes to about 17 inches wide. And I have pressed the fold, like from the manufacturer off the bolt, already pressed that out. And I have folded two pieces, like here's the black, and it's folded to the same thing. And then now the one that's going to be the top, or she can reverse this. It's not just a lining, it's reversible, because I'm going to put a pocket on both of these. So I've already folded this. I'm going to pin this in place and cut it. Make sure that I have all of my areas showing. And I'm going to put this pattern on my blog. All right, I've put this on the fold all the way the length down. I'm going to go ahead and pin it in place. Now, I don't need to pin that, but if you need to pin that, you can certainly put you a pin right there. I'll pin at this bottom corner. So let me kind of show you where I pinned it. Let me just adjust that for a second. So it's pinned all the way down here. Just I just put one here, and one at the bottom. And now I'm going to cut it. Okay, and just a little note, on my pattern, I have marked right here, this is, if I just wanted to do a single layer, I would fold this down, that's about 1.5 inches, and I would do a 1/2 inch turn under. That's just for a single layer. But I probably need to trim this off, measure this and trim this off, and so on your pattern I will have it marked for either or, all right? So this is the area where I cut, like would be the underarm part of it or the side part of it. And I don't need this. So, and this is a yard of fabric, maybe just a tiny bit more, but just right at a yard. All right, so move that out of the way. This is my space that I have left, and this is exactly right for this pocket. So I'm going to pin this, and I'm just going to do, this will just be turned down and turned under to stitch it in place so it won't be a lined thing. And then this length down here is 28. And so I can get my 3 sections of 28 inches out of there. And I can also get, in this space here, I can get the little tab part that's going to go on the neck. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my scissors to cut this. I could use a rotary cutter, get it nice and straight, but we'll just use scissors. Here we go. I'm going to even this up, and so the first thing I'm going to do is cut away my selvage. I've got to go this way. So I'm going to line up my ruler at 2.5 inches here, and then I'm going to cut me 3 strips. And then the little tab is also 2.5 by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and get that right in here. And just make sure I'm cutting on the straight of the fabric. All right, and this only needs to be 3 inches long. So here's my 3-inch mark right there. Let's straighten it up this way just in case it's not straight. It would probably be okay, but we'll go ahead and straighten it. So I'm going to line that up here. There's that. I don't want to lose that. And then these need to be 28 inches long. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing with the black. Get the little black straps. Okay, I'm going to mark my placement for my pocket. So old school, maybe yes, no, I'm not for sure. I've got my son, my 50-year-old son, my number 1 son, had this whenever he was in home ec in high school. They don't have homemaking anymore, I don't think, in high school. Anyway, it's just a little piece of tailor's chalk. You could just use regular chalk. And I have a Mark Be Gone, and I will put a link for this in the description box below. I think the lighting's a little bad for you to see that. It's a little overcast today. Anyway, so I put a couple of pins. This is where the outer area of the pocket's going to go, and it'll come to the middle, and so I put a pin here and here. I'm going to do this first, is mark the black, And so I'm going to open it up. I've unpinned everything except for the pockets. I'm going to open this up. And so there's my pin spot right there. And I'm going to mark that with a little bit of this chalk. This is what this was originally designed for. And this pin did not go all the way through. So let me repin that. There we go. So just a little nip right there, and I don't want to get carried away with my chalk. I can see that. That'll be good. And then go ahead and mark with my blue marker. And I'm going to mark this one on the right side so I can see this will go away with water. There's a little turquoise mark there. And make sure that's where my pin is right there. And then on the other side, so we're marking the right side. I could mark the wrong side. It'd be easier to see, easier to find. But why would I do it the easy way? Get a hold of this. And there's my pin area right there. And there. Got that. Now take those out. And then I'm going to mark these. And so this one, I'm just going to fold my pattern back and mark right like that. This one will be easy. And here, because I want to have a stitch right down the middle of this seam that will be 2 sections of the pocket. Okay, so then, hope you're still with me now. I'm going to mark the edge of on the black. You'll be able to see it better on this side. Right there. So now I have a little white mark right there where that pin is. And I can take that out there. You can see that better. I don't know if you can see it or not. But anyway, there it is. Okay, unpin this, and now it's time to go to the sewing machine. So this is the pocket, and I've pinned it down 1/2 inch on the top and the bottom, and I'm going to press that. It'll make it easier. Now, if I was just doing this myself, I probably wouldn't do all this pressing stuff, but since I want to share with you how for you to do this, this is a good way to get started. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and turn onto the sides 1/2 inch also and press them. Make sure I don't burn myself here. Move that pin out of the way. Turn that to the 1/2 inch mark and put a little pin right there to hold it in place. And the same thing over here. There's my 1/2 inch. There's my 1/2 inch. I think I was out of the frame. I just used my little ruler, and there's my 1/2 inch mark right there. Slide that down. There's 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Now I'll press that in place. That didn't stay. I think I can eyeball that. And so since this apron is a reversible apron, I'll do the same thing on the lining side, or the reversible side. It's not a lining because it's going to have a pocket also. So there's my 1/2 inch in here. Okay, so I'm going to get all my pressing done at one time. So this is going to be like the sides and the bottom. This is the top, and I've allowed 1.5 inches. A half inch for the turn down for the tuck under. And so now I'm going to go ahead and fold it down 1 inch. So there's my 1 inch mark. And there. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to put a seam right along this edge right here. And these I'll just take the pins out or leave them in, and then I'll pin them to my apron. But I'm going to go and do a running stitch, a little top stitch on this top pocket edge. I stitched both of the pockets right at 1 inch. So there's the stitching there and there. And so now I'm going to do the straps. So let me get the straps. For the straps, I don't need to cut 2 colors of these. I just needed to cut the black. I decided I could have cut the splotchy one, but the black will look good if she's got the apron turned to the black side, and if she has it to the splotchy side, then she's got accent ties, just black ties. Okay, so to make these straps, I'm going to press this, just fold this in half and press it, and then fold it in half again. And I mean, I could pin it all in and measure it and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to do this side first. It'll be easier for me to control this. I'm going to fold that in to the fold like that. And then I'm just going to press this edge. And just carefully as I go without, and I'm not getting into the center fold of this so that I don't press that flat again and then lose where I was at. I could stitch this and turn it, and it would probably take about the same amount of time. So whichever you would prefer to do, but for this, right now, I'm just going to fold it in and fold it in. And so repeat this process on this side and then on the other straps and the little tab. So fold that to the middle and give it a press. All right, and then I'm going to just fold this one in half one more time and just press it again so that it's easy. And the other thing I'm going to do to finish this strap, one end of it needs to be turned in. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this in about a 1/2 inch on this end, and it doesn't matter either one. The other one's going to be caught in the seam. This one will be an exposed end. Like to tie it behind her back or the part that goes over the shoulder area, and then press that one more time, and then we'll do this for the other ones, and then we'll go to the sewing machine and just do a top stitch on all the way around. I want to show you a little trick about this end that's going to be a finished end. So whenever I just fold it and then fold it in half, so I've got these little pieces that, let me see if I can get it to where you can see it. These little pieces that kind of want to hang out a little bit. So what I'm going to do, see if I can keep my fingers out of the way and get in this spot here, is I'm going to triangle fold that down just a little bit, both corners. Like that. Fold that down. And that kind of tucks those raw edges in. like that. And then I'm going to just put a pin in here. I'm going to be careful that I don't sew into that pin. All right? That's going through a whole lot of layers of fabric on the inside. But anyway, okay. So now then I want to carefully... I've already sewed these other 2 straps. This is my last strap, and I thought, well, let me show you this. Let me pull this up a little bit, pull that out. There we go. All right. So now I'm just going to kind of walk this to get it started. And I'm just doing a straight stitch, because I don't want that tab in, that end to kind of jam down into my sewing machine. So there we go. And then get to the corner. Make sure the needle is down into the, catching both edges of the fabric. Turn it so that now I can go straight. And I'm going to take that pin out so I don't sew over that pin. Now, and then just kind of give it a couple of little stitches and I'm ready to go. So I'll just sew this down the length of this strap. So there's that, and then across the end where we stitched, let me show you. And you can do a double stitch on this if you want to, but I've caught on both sides and I don't have the edges hanging out. Alright, so I've done that with these 2 straps. I'm going to stitch my tab if I can figure out where I put my tab, and then we'll go put the apron together. The next step is to pin the pockets in place. So this mark is not very dark, but I can see it. There's my little turquoise mark that's from my little Marks Be Gone pen. And I found the other one a second ago. This is kind of like where on this. There's my middle mark. So it's got I just saw it a second ago. Anyway, but I've got the middle mark. This is my top side that's been top stitched. Get the extra strings off of here. If I was doing a mixed media piece, I would be leaving those strings on there, but this is not that. So off it comes. All right, let's make sure we've got about the middle on here. I'm going to fold the pocket in half and put me a little pin right there. That marks my spot right there. All right, so there's my little spot right there, and there's my middle place right there. So we're right on target. So there it is. There's my other little spot right there. So I'm going to make sure that I'm evened up in the middle. I would rather be off just a little bit on the sides and get that middle right on. All right. So I'm going to pin this in place because I'm going to put a seam down the middle also. And then pin these. This has already got my pins at the bottom. So this will be an easy transfer. Alright, I'm going to repeat this on the black, and I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'll stitch around here, across the bottom and here, and then I'll put a stitch right down the middle. And I'll do back and forth a couple of times on the corners to reinforce those corners and in this middle spot. I'm going to use 2 3/4 inch D-rings to make the neck adjuster. And so since this is the main side of this apron, we're going to put the adjustment onto what would be, if she's wearing it, the left side. Right now it is my right side. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to put this little tab through, and then we are going to scoot this in about a 1/2 inch. I want to make sure that I don't catch it in my seam, and then pin this in place. Alright, so that'll give her a little adjustment there. And then the next strap, these are all the same length. It's going to go to the other side. Now she could just tie this around her neck, but we're going to put that little adjustment right there. And, or you could, if you're making this for yourself, I say she because I'm making this for a friend of mine. And so the straps to tie, I'm going to stick that in the pocket just to kind of keep that out of the way. The straps, I am going to put the smooth side, the non-stitched side up. No particular reason why. And again, I'm going to go about 1/2 inch down. You can see on my grid here, there's 1/2 inch. Make sure that I don't catch it in my seam when I put this together. And so when we stitch this in place, we'll do like several stitches back and forth to make sure that that doesn't come undone. All right, and then the other side, same thing. The finished end goes towards the, get those strings off. Finished end goes toward the inside of the apron. The smooth side, this is the stitch side, this is the smooth side. This is going to go up. We'll move in about 1/2 inch and pin that. Now I could go ahead and pin, just stitch these things in place, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and get my other piece of the apron, the other back side of the apron, and we'll stitch it all together and then turn it right side out. But let me go ahead and grab that real quick. Okay, here's the other side of the apron, and there's my pockets. This is the right side. This is the right side. So I'm going to put the right sides together. Let's get this down so I can reach it here. Now I'm going to leave this pin in place and just put a second pin in there. Just, if I was doing this myself, I probably, for just me, I probably wouldn't do that, but for your sake, I will do that. We're going to have a 1/2 inch seam all the way around. And I'm going to put about 2 pins in this curved area. So what I would like to know is if you enjoy seeing me at the sewing machine, do you need to see how I stitch, or or do you already know how to sew and you're just kind of jumping on here to get you a little bit more information, a little tutorial? Is it about putting stuff together? Anyway, I would really love to know if you would rather, if you want to have more information of me on the sewing machine. I love to teach. I love to share. So I certainly don't mind sticking my video camera over there to record while I am sewing, if you want to see that. Sometimes it can be a little monotonous, but I don't know until I ask what you want to see. Okay, so I've got those little curves done. I got the top done. Let's scoot on down here. And I've got a curved edge at the bottom. I'm going to leave, because this is not really heavy fabric, probably only about maybe 6 or 8 inches open at the bottom to turn this right side out. With right sides together, and I'm going to do it, I've got it marked at a 1/2 inch seam. I'm going to just seam around. I'm going to leave an opening at this bottom side, and so here we go. Here's my strap. I'm going to double stitch that. And I'm not taking that double stitch up to the edge because I'm going to do a little cut, diagonal cut, to get rid of that so I can turn a pretty corner. Alright, so now as I come around this corner, I want to make sure that this strap is not going to get caught in my stitching. So I'm going to push it down, make sure I can feel it with my finger, know that it's not going to be in that seam. Get back onto my 1/2 inch there. Alright, here we go. All right, so I've got about that far. I'm going to leave open to turn this. Back stitch there, just so it won't rip out on me. All right. Now then, let me show you just while I'm here. Let's get this out of the way. In the corners, on this curved area, I want to clip in, like where it starts with a curve. Make sure I'm not cutting the rest of the apron. Get it out of the way here. And so I'm cutting both of the pieces like that, almost to the seam, but do not cut the stitches. You'll have to re-stitch. Okay. Maybe about an inch apart. This will help whenever we turn this wrong side out, then that little curve will lay flat, because we're going to top stitch this. All right, so I'm back up into the straight area. So let me get, oops, bump. On these edges, where it makes a point, I want to cut this on the diagonal. Get rid of a little bit of that fullness. The top, same thing. All right, and then in this curved part that kind of goes along the side and to the back, it would be almost an underarm, but not quite, but it curves, so it also needs some little clips done in it. About the same distance apart. You don't have to measure it, but about an inch. And again, this will help whenever we turn it right side out to lay smooth along that seam line. Being careful not to clip my threads. Okay, so now I'm going to take this to the ironing board and press it. To turn this right side out, I'm just going to reach into this hole that I left open at the bottom. Reach up to the top. Grab one of the tabs. Actually, I can grab both of the tabs and the strap and pull out. Just like that. And so now I'm going to iron this. I said I was going to iron it a while ago, but I needed to turn it right side out before I ironed it. So there's my little pockets and everything. I'm going to iron this and stitch around it all the way. And you know what? We'll be finished. Wait. This is the opening at the bottom, and I've pressed it together. And I am just going to do a quick stitch close to the bottom. And then I'm going to come back and do like a top stitch around the whole thing. Now I could do this sort of stitch around the whole apron, but I don't know. Is that what I want to do? I don't think that's what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. And let me clip. And then I'm going to move in to the width of the presser foot. So now, you don't have to start back over here where we started at, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put the edge of my fabric to the edge of my presser foot. You can see that from there. And then just go all the way around the apron. It's all pressed and ready to go. So, and one more time, right here, this is already triple stitched. So I think I'm okay. I could, in fact I will, just come up here and double stitch that, and then I'm going to swing it on in to come around that underarm curve. So I'm going to try just a little something different. I'm going to reposition my camera for a second. Okay, one last little thing that I want to do. I want to stitch these D-rings kind of more in place. So I'm going to move my needle over. That's a little needle position wheel on the top. And so I'm going to move it over to my right hand side and put that presser foot right up next to as close as I can get to the D-rings. But I don't want to stitch into them. And I'm going to do a little back and forth. There we go. It's going to be 3 stitches, and this is going to just keep the little D-rings up at the top. I could probably use a zipper foot, but I didn't want to change feet. Well guys, I'm pretty excited with the way that this turned out. It's got 2 pockets. It's reversible. There's 2 pockets on the reverse side of it. It's adjustable. I think this pattern would fit like a medium to an extra large. I am about a medium, and you can see I've got plenty of apron space here, and it could even go to somebody a little bit smaller. This neck strap adjusts with the little D-rings. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And you know the drill. Give me a little thumbs up, like, share, comment, and I'm going to put the pattern for this over on myhallcloset.com, and you can go to my resource library and get the pattern there. Thanks for watching. Bye.